Good afternoon, everyone. I am going to address both of the final sections of the final PPE report in this recording, okay? And so that includes the management and leadership principles section, as well as the PPE reflection essay section of the final PPE report, okay? So we have just recently wrapped up the Theory X and Theory Y discussion forum. And I'm hoping through that process and through your response posts and in reading what your classmates had to share, that you were able to come up with 10 questions that you would like to use to interview maybe your PPE mentor who is in a management position, or another supervisor, or maybe even the manager of a whole different area in the hospital. It's completely up to you. Whoever you make good connection with is just fine for this assignment. And so you're going to use those 10 questions to conduct an interview. And so let's dive right in here. So the instructions for that this management and leadership section. So you're going to develop those 10 interview questions. I want you to document those, of course. Keep in mind here that these interview questions should be designed in a way that allow you to assess their supervisory style. So X, Y, and maybe you want to think about, a combination of both of those and how you're going to explain that. But we want you to list out those questions. We also want you to provide the name and title of the person that you're interviewing at the top of that section, a list of the interview questions, and then a summary report of the leader's responses to those interview questions. Okay, and so I'm fine if you list the question and their response. That is just fine to do that. But then at the end of that, I want you to provide an assessment of the leader's supervisory style. So Theory X, Theory Y, or combination. I want you to provide rationale for your assessment. So does the leader have a supervisory style of Theory X or Y, and what supervisory traits helped you to reach the conclusion that you did in terms of their style? Okay. So that's the first section of that section. Next, you're going to create an organization chart. We want you to focus the detail on the management staff within the department or the unit that you're interning with. This should be a chart of your own creation, okay? I do not want you to copy and paste the department's organization chart. I want you to create this on your own. I don't want a scanned image of their org chart. This is for you to demonstrate your ability to create an org chart, for one, and two, to demonstrate your understanding of the hierarchy that is established in that department, okay? It should be professional in appearance and clearly delineate the hierarchy and the roles, okay? I want you to, like I said, keep it at the management level. So we're going to be looking for the relationship of the managers, supervisors, and or leads in the department, okay? Coordinators maybe even. And so that should be the focus of that. So that's the second section of this section. Then lastly, this is where you're going to probably want to pull out your Oaks and Waters textbook, okay? This next part should actually be kind of probably conducted or addressed during the management interview where you assess their supervisory style, okay? So during that same interview with your site mentor or another leader or manager within the organization, you're going to want to address the management functions that they perform. And so those management functions are addressed on pages 676 to 680 in the Oaks and Waters textbook. And just to kind of refresh your memory, it's planning, organizing, directing, and leading, and controlling and evaluating. And so depending on that person's management level, they may or may not be involved with all four of, or what is there? Yeah, there's four functions here. And so we want you to develop a report on their management functions, okay? And so this report should be 2 to 3 pages, double spaced, and we want you to address these 2 questions. How involved is the leader you interviewed in each of the 4 managerial functions? and then we want you to explain why they may be more involved in some of the functions and not others, okay? So this is going to involve some critical thinking and some further discussion with your mentor or whoever you're interviewing about their actual job and how they perform, you know, these management functions. Okay, so that's what I want to share there. I'm going to next share that template with all of you and show you kind of how that would look. So here's my table of contents. Here's the management leadership principles. I'd like you to maybe lay it out something like this. So I'm just picking on my good friend Susie Johnson, who is the HIM director at St. Luke's in Duluth. So the first section would be that management style interview. And I put here management style interview with Susie Johnson. And then we're going to have the organization chart. And so I want you to identify that it's the, you know, it's the specific, identify the specific department or unit or whatever it is that you're providing an organization chart for. Okay, so here, an example, community hospital HIM department organization chart. And then you're going to end with the management function report. So I listed here management function report based on Susie Johnson's role. Okay, so those management functions she performs in her role as the HIM director. And then lastly, we're going to cover the PPE reflection paper here. And really, there's no like subcomponents of that reflection paper. And so you can simply list it as reflection paper. And so I'm going to go back to my initial screen here and scroll down to that reflection paper. And so this used to be a completely separate assignment in this seminar course. And what we found is that it was sometimes hard for students to remember you know, that far back. And so we've decided to make it a component of the final PPE report and allow for you to, you know, develop this maybe while you're there, maybe right after the, you know, you conclude your PPE, but we want you to be able to reflect on this in a more timely manner. And so that's why it's now a component of this. So this is also, you know, one of the goals of the PPE that you'll see, I believe it's listed up here. Sorry for the scrolling here. Learn outcomes and considered goals of the PPE is that, you know, we want you to, I'm going to take a moment here while I have the chance. So the outcomes for this PPE, or what we hope that you'll have upon the completion of your PPE, will be the, you know, for you to develop technical skills and professional communication skills in the work setting, understand industry and PPE organization structures, culture, and ethics, apply and reflect on the connection to academic theory and practice, so what you learn in class, strengthen your critical thinking, your systems thinking, your workplace skills, problem skills, and management skills. We want you to develop a greater awareness and appreciation of yourself and others and social responsibility in a work, career, and global context. We also want you to further develop your skills involved in lifelong learning, which are curiosity, independence, initiative, reflection, and transfer. And the definition of transfer is really just your reflection on previous learning and application of that learning to demonstrate comprehension and performance in new situations. And lastly, we want you to establish a network of professional contacts, mentors, and references. Okay, so I'm gonna, sorry for the scroll here, scroll back down to the reflection. So just so you know that how these sections of this PPA report, it relates back to the outcomes, the learning outcomes that we have for you. And so part of this assignment is really to ingrain the habit of reflection in order to help you become lifelong learners, okay? We are going to have you create a piece of writing that showcases what you've experienced, learned, and accomplished during your PPE. So let's kind of look at this a little bit here. So we want you to have a 3 to 5 page double-spaced paper This would not include any figures, tables, or appendices. And if you have any resources or references, definitely make sure that you have a reference page and that you cite everything. You can definitely use first person in terms of how you write this, and definitely make it self-reflective in tone. Again, APA cited citations and a formatted reference page. Clearly and completely address the elements and answer the questions posed below. This paper should really highlight the outcomes and student achievements through the PPE while synthesizing specific experiences that contributed to the PPE. So we want to see, you know, your goals. Maybe as we get going here, I'll explain more further, but an example would be, if you're talking about, did you meet your goals, and you just say yes. Well, first of all, I need you to tell me what the goals were, and I want you to share that by explaining the experiences that you had at the PPE that contributed to you meeting that goal. Okay, so synthesizing is showing me how you can bring everything together and connect the dots for me. Okay, the paper should be focused, logically organized, and a piece of writing that expresses your ideas fluently. Okay, we want you to have strong topic sentences for each paragraph. We want you to provide enough evidence and examples to support your topic sentences. So again, more of that synthesis. The paper should also follow the conventions of good professional writing, effective sentence structure, vocabulary. Make sure you proofread it for spelling and grammatical errors. Okay? All right, so let's get into the kind of nuts and bolts here of this reflection paper. So first I want you to explain the steps you took to meet your learning objectives. And those learning objectives were the ones that you identified on the pre-PPE conference worksheet. So you all have access to that. I want you to reflect on that. How well did you accomplish each objective? What supportive factors helped you accomplish your objectives? What kind of support was missing that you would have liked? Maybe you didn't meet all the objectives. So explain why you didn't, okay? Next, what skills and knowledge from your classes or activities at CSS were you able to use during the PPE? Okay, or maybe you want to even draw on even education farther back. Maybe it was your undergrad or, your undergrad, if you're in a progression program or post-bac certificate program, maybe you have a RHIT degree, or maybe you have a degree in something else, a bachelor's degree in another field, okay? We want you to consider your technical skills. Did you gain any additional technical skills through your PPE? Maybe you're an Excel whiz now, or maybe you were able to use their EHR and now you feel more comfortable with some of those skills. So are there technical skills you need to improve upon? Maybe you need to improve upon your Excel skills. Are there technical applications that you didn't like performing while on your PPE? Okay. Many people say that networking is one of the most important elements of a PPE. So did you develop professional relationships that may help you in your future academic or career endeavors? So explain your experience networking with other professionals during your PPE. Next, what did it mean to be at the PPE site? What is the value of the experience to you? So think about that. How are you going to explain that? And these are all things that you should be thinking about while you're on your PPE. So it's good that we're taking this time to review these and definitely refresh your memory when you're at the PPE site. So what about your PPE did you like most? Where were you most challenged personally and professionally? If the experience was negative or you had moments of negativity, what can you take away from the experience? So that's where that reframing comes in. Connect it back to that discussion that we had. What did you learn about yourself as an employee, a coworker, a team member? What do you think your site mentor would say about you as an employee? What would other coworkers say about you as a team member? And what professional workplace skills do you need to improve upon? Okay, we're getting to the end here. So throughout your PPE, there were most likely times that you felt very prepared and other times where you didn't feel prepared. So in what experience did you feel prepared? What experience did you not feel prepared? What didn't you know? So share those experiences. Throughout your PPE, you were exposed to many people in different roles. As you reflect on some of the most interesting roles, is there additional experience, education, or skills that you would need to be successful in that role? Where do you see yourself in this organization? And then lastly, how has this experience affected your career plans? Okay, so while that may seem like a lot, hopefully you can clearly and concisely explain all of that in 3 to 5 pages, all right? So work on your professional writing and in your ability to clearly convey what you're thinking here. And lastly, definitely, I think I glossed over it, but definitely make sure you review these rubrics for these last 2 sections that I've reviewed here with you today. I'm so excited for all of you to get out and have these experiences, and um, I hope that these little videos or recordings have helped you as well in terms of clarifying what you need to do. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And yeah, I just wish you all the best of luck. And I will probably be posting some more tips and probably some final words of encouragement before Monday the 28th. So, all right, enjoy the rest of your week.